Today we're going to make a multi-sized, multi-purpose utility bag. We're going to teach one size, but the attached directions are going to show multiple ways to make this project. And this bag can be used for makeup, travel items, pencils. Okay, we are going to start with a 14-inch zipper, and what you're seeing in the front is the front of the zipper, and you want to attach the front of the zipper to the front of your fabric, and we're going to pin it along the front of the fabric. If you see how the zipper is reversed there, and then on the back of the zipper we're going to attach the lining, and you see we left a little bit of the tail at the end. That helps when we're closing it at the end. Just pin across. Okay, next we're going to attach our zipper foot. It's just a quick switch out on the machine, and then we're going to sew just a straight line on where we pinned our fabric. If you have a zipper setting, be sure to set your machine to allocate for the new zipper foot. And just sew straight across. Okay, so when you're done, you're going to have the completed one half of your bag, and it's attached there at the zipper. And then you just duplicate the exact same process on the other side. When you're attaching the other half of the zipper, it's connected here. And you look, and you're going to match it up just like you did previously with the right sides together of the front of the zipper. Let's see how we reversed it.
Just a minute.
Okay, so this part's a little tricky. Just make sure you've got your zipper flipped the correct way. So if you look, here's the opening of our zipper. This is the piece we just completed. And then we just flipped this one on this side of the material to pin, and we're pinning it again with the right side on the right side of the front of the bag, and then the pink polka dot is our liner, and you're going to see it all match up here. So now when we sew, it's going to all go together again, just like we did before. So now you've got both pieces sewn together, and we've got our liner together and our front together. And the zipper is open. If you don't open the zipper when you go to sew this, it's going to make it really hard when you're turning it around. So make sure your zipper stays open, and just pin alongside. This is the base, and so here's the zipper there. So this is the base of both of the liners together. That pink polka dot is our liner.
When you get to about an inch from the end of your seam here, you stop. You take your zipper, you fold it so it goes straight down like this. You take your lining and you fold it over that part and you pin it. And then you proceed with sewing your seam here for your zipper. Both sides of the zipper, you do it that way. I normally do it when I sew the zipper, but I forgot that part earlier. So here you go. You take your zipper, inch from the end, fold it down, pin it, and then re-sew it right there, or continue sewing, because you would probably want to do it at the same time you do your zipper.
Okay, both sides are sewn.
Yeah.
And
so they flip up so that when you have this, it folds up for you. So it's not, when you pin this right sides together, then you will put this to the inside of your, so you don't sew that. Line up the seams here. There.
Okay, now we're going to switch back from our zipper foot to just our normal sewing foot, and we're going to sew the lining. We pinned all the way around like we showed before, and then we allocated for the zipper that we just fixed and tucked under. Make sure you don't sew that zipper under. And right now we're sewing straight across on the front of the bag. This is not the liner side, this is the front of the bag. And we just stop at the end and turn. Again, stop and pivot. Now we stopped before we got to that end of the zipper there, just right up to the edge, but not, yeah, there we go. Now we're onto our liner. We're not going to sew all the way. We've started down one side of the liner. And you're going to stop right where you started.
On the lining side.
Okay, so on the lining side, we forgot to mention you do need to leave a little hole. So you can sew up to one end, then you can go to the other end and finish, but leave this little hole so we can turn it inside out. Then next, this is just going to be the puckered bottom to allow your bag to stand. And you're going to take each corner, again, we're looking at the liner. So you're going to measure in 2 inches from the corner of the liner bag. And you can just stick a pin there to show yourself where you've measured it. And it's triangular if you look at how you've folded it. And you're again looking at how you've bent it over. Then we just use a straight edge, anything you've got on hand, and mark it with chalk or pen. It's the inside of the liner, it won't show. And you're going to sew right across that line. Okay, so then you're going to repeat that process on all 4 corners. So you start with the bag flat, and you just bring it up triangular like that. And measure your 2 inches once again. And if you see just to the side, there's the piece we cut off. After you sew, you can cut that very tip off of the piece. That's where we did that there. Okay, again, you're going to have a completed corner. You just snip the edge above where you cut off, and that gives us the base. And then you're going to just do the same thing now on the front of the bag. See how it's squared there? She's going to pull it apart. It's a little tougher on this side because of the liner we used. What was the name of the liner?
The fleece.
It's a
fusible fleece.
It's fusible fleece, and that makes your bag a little firmer. If you want it to stand up on its own and to just not pucker as bad, to be just a firmer bag. But manipulating it gets a little trickier. You can also just use a fusible liner as well, but the fleece seems to be a little more sturdy. And we just repeat the same process on this side. Okay, so when you're done and you've cut the corners off, this is the front of the bag. And then this is the liner that we've completed. And we're just going to turn it inside out. And then shove your liner back in. And see how the bottom just formed real nice? And it just sits real flush there. Now you still got the hole in there. We're going to sew that once we get it all put together. So then you just tuck, see how she's tucking the...
I'm just going to sew it now.
Yeah? You just, that little hole you left it in, just put it inside out. You just stitch it. And she tucked it in so that the seam doesn't come out. And that should be your completed utility bag.
To do the top stitch.
Okay, so we pinned around the top of the bag, and we're just going to do one final top stitch to secure that zipper down, and it just gives it a nice finished quality. And we're going to sew all the way around the bag, just about a 1/4 inch from the zipper line. And you'll just continue all the way around the back. Okay, so at the end, you're going to cut off, just leave about 1 inch on the end of your, this is not the zipper edge, but the end piece. And then we just made, with the scrap fabric, a little tuck. Just a little square, and we ironed it so everything is closed up. And just pin it together. And we'll just sew it on the ends. And sewing it as she pins it. Sewing it is going to create this little end piece like you see on this one here. And so then we finished our edge here. We have our completed bag.